Right, we are here with Rob Boyajian, Director of Information Services at Goodwill of Southern Los Angeles County. Rob, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us today. Rob, we've been partners for several years now and just wanted to kind of chat with you about our partnership, design, support, and installation services during our time here with you. So thanks for, sitting down here with us today. In your own words, Rob, can you just tell us a little bit about your working relationship with Cloud Connections and our sales rep, Aaron Winter?
Yeah. Hey, Doug. How you doing? Yeah, we've had a great relationship. It's been a real pleasure working with Aaron and the team. They heard what we needed for this room. They made some suggestions. Actually gave us a better idea of what will work best for us, and no pressure, easy to work with, and just made the process really simple.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for that feedback. Can you tell us a little bit, Rob, about the sales and design process, how that's been with Aaron and the team, please?
Yeah, it's been super. We were looking for, or we envisioned just a simple solution here, but the team, obviously, they're experts. They know what works best, and they know what the potential technologies are. So they helped us put together something that was really professional for us. And we've got the room in which we use this. In fact, I'm sitting here now in our multi-purpose room, we call it. We have lots of internal meetings, external groups come in. We're doing town hall meetings now. We've got cameras installed here. So Aaron and the team are great at listening to what the potential use was. And they put together a system that was, they designed a system that was really great and easy to use, and it was really flexible. We've got lots of options in how we connect and how we present video. So we've really enjoyed it. It's working really great for us.
That's excellent. Everybody has certainly their criteria, budget, all those things to contend with, spatial, guidelines and parameters. I think the background's just awesome with kind of the two-tone wall back there. So glad to hear it's working and operating as such. We've got a few of those rooms in our headquarters that have just kind of turned into more of that multi-purpose. We can host, we can have the larger sized meetings that, some of those conference rooms just can't hold based on capacity. And having that flexibility, like you said, certain organizations and teams have, multiple platforms from UCAS that they have to go through, whether it's Teams, Zoom, Google, et cetera. And having some of those options is always beneficial. Thank you for that. When we look at, when we talk about the deciding factor, Rob, that made you want to continue working with Cloud Connections, tell us a little bit more about that, please.
Yeah. Well, Doug, when I was first looking for a solution, I naturally started looking here locally in Southern California for audio video vendors. And I was surprised how difficult it was to even get anyone to call me back in the first place. And then the ones that did, it was just a lengthy process. They weren't necessarily so responsive. And then I was chatting with our friends over at Goodwill Industries International, who's our associated organization, and they actually recommended Cloud Connections. They said that you did some work for them. They were pleased with it. Kind of I think a smaller Zoom room or maybe Teams that they're using as well. But a lot of the same components. So I gave you guys a call and explained what we're doing, and the team immediately had some ideas of how they could optimize this operation for us. And it was they came through with what we needed. I was amazed. I didn't realize how much this technology can really be tied together so easily as far as end user use. And they made it easy. So we're so happy with what they did.
That's awesome. I love that, responsive answering the phone, it sounded like, was one of the criteria and the check boxes that couldn't be checked in some of those cases. And that is funny. You're certainly not the first partner that local makes sense for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. And it's certainly, as we've seen now with the way the technology works and just having those professional consultants available, remote is not always a negative, so Thank you for that. I think we've got a few clients back in Denver where we do have our headquarters that's an absolute must. It was one of the ways that they did find us. But, with international clients on both coasts, we are happy to be able to support folks that, ultimately someone else has just not been able to provide the right level of touch and support and structure within those services. So thank you for that. Um, Let's pivot here for just a minute. Tell me a little bit, please, about the installation and project management with our teams. How were they to work with while they came on site? And, no longer it was just the phone call and Zoom or VC type interaction.
Yeah, again, Doug is expert. They had everything covered from end to end. They made it so seamless and effortless for us. I think we started with a phone call or two. I took pictures of this entire room and described in concept what we're trying to do. One of our big objectives was to start doing town hall meetings so that our executive management could address everyone in the organization at the same time. We've got 20 retail stores throughout the region, and here on this campus, we've got probably about 70 to 80 people at a time. So.
Wow.
So yeah, our vision was, as we've done in the past, before the days of Zoom, everything was in person. We would have as many folks on site as we can pile into this room,
Sure.
and do presentation and celebrations and things like that. And but to try and be more inclusive to the rest of the organization, our frontline workers who are out there, we were trying to accomplish that. And we first started working with kind of the typical in-house put together systems. We would use Zoom in here, but I had auxiliary cameras and mics. A lot of setup, not so not so soundproof as far as auxiliary noise and things like that. So again, that's what really amazed me with the kind of setup that the team designed here. We've got ceiling mics. They pick up perfectly. We don't need to worry about a thing. We literally push a button or two, the screens come down, the Zoom meeting starts. Things are ready to go. I've got 3 cameras. They can track our presenter if we choose. So, so the team really designed the system to meet those needs. They put together drawings, diagrams for us of how all the components, how they work together, and the coverage of the room, how it was going to resolve that. And it was really, we didn't realize that's what we needed, but it really did the job.
Thank you for that. Yeah, it's funny as savvy and technical as you are, some of those things they just can be overwhelming. It can feel like it can be, a kind of pieced together here and there, or based on budget needs. Sometimes that's the way it has been done before. And then when you experience something that is, really kind of custom and truly designed for that exact space, rooms in a kit, if you will, as we have had our hand in those baskets in prior cases, they just don't fit all sizes, right? They are kitted for a reason specific to the sizing and the unique nature. 3 cameras in a room is not the norm asked of us. But man, when you see it on there and done right, it's really powerful. And it presents in a different way that those town hall meetings, I've had a few past clients that myself was that same exact kind of use case and need. And that way it could feel more interactive for the folks that couldn't make it, whether it was, seasonality of weather or restrictions due to travel or age, et cetera. And it can really allow for more of that community feel and, direct two-way input. So that can, certainly make or break some of the things that you're going for when, the world shutting down and going through everything we did with the pandemic. It put a different perspective on it. It put different parameters in place for us and allowed, certain organizations to do things a little differently moving forward. And, I think your testimonial there is huge, Rob. So thank you for that. I'd love to say it's, I think, as you said, been pretty seamless, very kind endorsement. Thank you for that. I want to hold ourselves accountable as much as we always intend for that to be the case. I know we had a room that was a little problematic. Please tell me about how that was handled, with our support team and how we were able to kind of all work together to get that resolved, because that's very important, obviously, with technology.
Yeah, yeah. The team came through. They worked with us. They worked with one of the component vendors. I think we had a one mic that was somewhat defective, wasn't holding a charge or whatever. So we did a little diagnosis here to try and narrow down the problem. They worked with the equipment supplier, got that resolved quickly, got that switched out. And then another thing, Doug, we did this room in a couple of different phases. We started with projectors, the audio, the base audio. So when it came time for phase two, and we were adding a little bit more equipment in our cabinet, we discovered, there's a little bit of a heat issue because of all the additional components we're putting in. The team was great. We sent them pictures of how everything was put together in the cabinet. They quickly realized, oh yeah, we could improve the airflow in there. We could fix that. So got it scheduled. They sent one of their installation team out here. He pumped it out in less than a day, just a few hours. Showed us every step of the way as we need to see what was going on. And I think I was more nervous than anyone else. It just, timing wise, are we going to get this to do what it needs to? But the team was, cool. They knew they can get it done easily, and they sure did.
Oh, that's fantastic. It can feel heavy in being in your shoes, right? When you work with the vendor partner for us, and there's a lot of skin in the game. And when things aren't quite going to plan, there's a lot of fingers and questions being asked to Rob, I'm sure. So yes, it's great to know you got a partner that you can rely on, lean on. I love our installation team. I think of our integrators as, they tend to leave every place better than it was before they got there, whether it's updates, new hardware, refresh, troubleshooting, et cetera. And I think that's one of those things where it's been a long lasting impression for that team. So thank you for that. I'm glad to hear that's consistently true. Rob, if you could recommend Cloud Connections to other Goodwill organizations across the country, what would you say the best part of working with us is, and the reason for the partnership?
Yeah, well, first of all, they came with high recommendations, as I mentioned a while ago. So, and everything our Goodwill partners had told us was absolutely true. The team knows how to engineer meeting spaces. They know, they hear the customer and what our objectives are, and even what we didn't realize we needed. So they put together a great solution. Very easy to understand, no high-tech lingo or anything like that. So, my team were comfortable in the solution that they were proposing and presented, and they just made it easy.
Love when that happens. It's always nice. Great, Rob. Any other topics of note that you had to mention for us today as we get here ready to conclude?
Yeah, well, I'd say Cloud Connections connected us, connected our organization with our remote workforce. The other meetings that we host for folks that are remote, even local. We do local video presentation in this room too. So, and we've got lots of different options in which to do that. Some of it based on user familiarity with equipment they're using, or going into a Zoom meeting versus just pressing another button or connecting from a mobile device. So they were able to incorporate all that. So we're just so pleased. I would recommend Cloud Connections to anyone. I'd just say give them a call, tell them what you're looking for. They'll come back and make something successful happen for you.
That's fantastic. Thank you for that endorsement, Rob. That's huge. That's about all we had for us today, Rob. We greatly appreciate your time, and we look forward to our ongoing continued partnership with Goodwill of Southern Los Angeles County. As always, if you ever need anything from us, please reach out. We are here to help. Thank you very much for your time, Rob.
Thanks, Doug.